And let's say if we talk about Android, for example, there's also a marketplace, but users can put a small tip in their settings and they can install software from any sources. So it means that these users are more vulnerable to malware, and we've got some proof so because there is in the wild malware for Android right now. So it means that in general, usability and security, they always will go like nearby, and different vendors will try to find their balance. So Microsoft with Windows Phone 7, they decided to choose like similar to Apple. They also said that there will be only marketplace applications can be installed on the Windows Phone 7 smartphones. It means that in the future, probably some users of Windows Phone 7 smartphones will try to jailbreak their smartphones in order to install uncertified software, which was not accepted, for example, by Microsoft. So I think it's really, it's almost like long distance or even endless balance between usability and security. These problems will always exist.
As your earlier comments about increased market share is a great example of how sort of usability detracts from security. Great example, Facebook. You've probably all heard of click jacking or like jacking, which is where you take the Facebook like button and you put it behind another image link. So the user clicks on the image link believing that they're actually going to site A, and in fact in the background they're also clicking this hidden Facebook like button, and because of course you've already logged in and stayed logged in Facebook, and because Facebook want it to be a single click, you actually click two things at once without realizing it, and Facebook go, oh, that's a browser problem, that shouldn't be possible. But the concept that they might introduce something that when you click the like button you then need to say, yes, I really did intend to do that, which at least prevents you clicking something that's hidden. But Facebook's response to that is not on the grounds that, oh no, the browser guy should fix this problem. The response is, what is it you don't get about our business? It's meant to be really easy. It's not like and then click another button. And so in that sense, because they want, how you grow from 500 million users, I don't know, that seems a bit of a challenge. I suppose you get all those users to join a second time and then claim that you've got 1,000 million users. That would be a clever trick. So that's just an excellent example of, well, it's somebody else's problem, because if we make it even slightly less convenient, then we will have undermined the usefulness and the whole idea of our site and our service. And there seems to be no question that they might seek some middle ground.
And there seems to be no point in trying to resist Facebook. So you're not on Facebook? Are you?
I'm not going to answer that question, because the Facebook terms and conditions of service are always using real information, name, date of birth. Very good, very good.
But the point really is that today, the younger generation, their friends and their social networks really are on Facebook, which means, in practice it means that if you are a young boy, or a teenager, or in your 20s, you will not be able to meet any girls if you are not on Facebook, which means you will be unable to reproduce. Which means that your genes will not carry further, which means only people who are on Facebook will have their genes go on. Facebook will take us over. There's no denying that. It's that.
So it's like a sort of whatever the Darwin Awards, but the other way around. Devolution. It's this whole idea of usability, and again, this like button in Facebook, the idea that they sort of aghast at the idea that anyone will want to make it harder than it is already. I guess another issue about usability versus security, and again, I don't mean to pick on Facebook because it's kind of big and ubiquitous, it's kind of ironic that it is so terribly easy to join effectively completely anonymously, despite all their protestations to the contrary. But it's terribly difficult to leave. It's a little bit like the Hotel California in there, I think.
Which is why I recommend people do what I've done. I don't use Facebook myself, but I have registered my account with my image, and I very clearly say that I'm not using Facebook, and I've only done that to prevent someone else from taking my image and registering an account with my name. So at least that's something that everybody will make sure it doesn't happen.
So, I mean, the challenges are, I think, that malware can become software. All of us human beings can become software. If it's a shiny object, we've been talking about quite a bit, rush to it, and the security implications are not thought of until much later, if at all. And so our reactive model is the root cause of the problem. So we have better tools to write more secure things in the first place, better understanding of computer science. We can basically prevent a lot of the problems. That's the big problem.
Because Mikko touched earlier on an issue which has been seen with mobile malware to persuade people to install it, is that the bad guys are very sort of, I guess, artistically adept at taking patterns of sort of security behavior with whatever operating system you're using that people have got used to and are convinced are a really good idea, authorizing this and authorizing that, and basically copying that interaction in a way that just sort of convinces you that it's almost as though the complexity of the security is of advantage to them because it allows them to copy it almost, not quite. So I agree that if we could make everything fundamentally secure underneath, that would be a great start.
I mean, I'm talking about programming languages or file formats and exchanges like that.
You say you are.
I am talking about that, right? So
absolutely. And you know, again, PDF a great example. Okay, so we've got ActionScript. PDF is basically PostScript, which is a Turing-complete programming language in its own right. And that's not good enough. We'll have ActionScript so you can have Flash. Oh, the rest of the world's using JavaScript, so we'll tick that in as well. So with one line of code in an object that's supposed to actually just be a rendered page, you can force the operating system to allocate 760 megabytes of memory. It does seem crazy that we've sort of gone overboard on it's sort of featureitis to the power of featureitis, and chopping out some of that, learning to live without it.
The PDF specification is 700 pages long.
No, that's you read the old one. One of the guys, he was going to print it out, and we said you're going to have to pay for the paper yourself. And something I think you'll find it's good as 1,600 pages specifications.
So inside software businesses, right? You have these groups that design and market software, and this is really awesome. And then the other people say, well, let's take a step back. Let's think about this for a second. They say you're in the way, you're out of the way, get out of the way, whatever. They can ship anyway.
Okay, Mr. Flo?
Since we're off topic anyway, not exactly talking about mobile malware at the moment, all of you now have used the word prevention. And prevention. All of you now have used the word prevention. I want to point out that in other types of crime, non-internet, non-cybernetic crime, we have other tools. I want you to imagine in those other worlds that are not Facebook, they're not the internet, we're talking about just simple personations, muggings, violent crime, armed robbery, that kind of thing. If we only had prevention in those worlds, how much of that would we really stop? Right? It turns out we rely in sort of other parts of the world that are not the internet. We rely on punishment. We rely on prosecution. We rely on other disincentives. And I realize disincentive is a form of prevention, but I want to point out that if we tie our hands, if we say that the way we're going to manage crime in the internet, on Facebook, in the cybernetic universe, is with prevention, and that's going to be all we do, we're giving up. We may as well just stay home. We have to do more than prevention.
I suspect we all agree very strongly with you on that, and that's why probably all of us have spent some non-trivial part of our spare time, and in many cases our time bankrolled by our companies, in attempting to work interjurisdictionally, is that a word, with law enforcement to actually try and get the discipline and punish part as well. But as you're well aware, there are some kind of massive complexities in that.
Working with international law enforcement on cybercrime cases can be rewarding, but also more often it's frustrating because these things happen very slowly, they take an awful lot of effort, and results are at best unpredictable. And just how long it takes from the moment when a cybercrime is committed until the guy is